Hello everybody, it's going to be a quick demo on how to debug the random in range utility for the animated scene extension. We're going to use this utility to generate a bunch of random clouds. And if you're having trouble debugging it, hopefully this will help. So first of all, if you run the random in range test suite as a unit test, you'll see that this version of random in range that I built that's sort of intentionally broken it's broken in a way that a lot of people mistake a lot of people make. You can see here that it's passing these two tests from 0 to 1 and 0 to 100. It seems to have no problem with that. But in all the other cases, it's sort of failing. If I want to click on this top line in the random in range test, you can see where it's failed. It's coming along and saying, okay, well, there's no values near the stop value, right? And so if you look at what's going on here in this test, you can see seems to be finding, it's calling random in range a bunch, keeping track of its max and min and sort of making sure that everything's in range. And there's actually a pretty good clue here that, well, it's working from when, it goes from 0. A lot of things work from 0 and then fail when you do some arbitrary range. So that's a good clue. And you may be able to just debug it based on that. If you can't, you can come over here in your package, you'll find a random in range debug app. And so if I run that as a Java application, it's going to bring up this little program. And what's happening here is we're going to be able to swipe out a rectangle wherever we want. So if I swipe out a rectangle like that, right, it will take sort of the starting position and the end position in X and Y, and then try to generate a bunch of random values in the X range and random values in the Y range of whatever I clicked on to whatever I clicked on. And the you can see that it's sort of doing that whole, XY thing is sort of, wherever I draw it, it sort of puts it at 0, 0, right? What I find interesting is when you build it this way, if you swipe in a different direction, which should not matter, it'll show up in a different quadrant, sort of like anchored to 0, 0. So if I do that, it'll go like there. And so like, depending on how I swipe out this rectangle, which it should not matter, sort of impacts things, but you can see it's always sort of hanging on to the origin. So that's no surprise. That's how I built it mistakenly. So let's go ahead as I normally do in a lot of these videos, as I can go over here and I've squirreled away the correct version. With one of the nice things about Git is that you can replace old committed versions. In this case, I have the correct one right here. So let's revert that. And now when I run this debug app, what you'll see is no matter how I draw it, no matter which way I go, no matter where I start, no matter where I end, it's not going to just anchor it to the origin, and it works no matter what. What you'll see here is it's generating a bunch of points inside of it and drawing sort of semi-transparent circles on top of each other. If the circles spill out a little bit, that's not a problem, as long as the centers are in the boxes, the only thing that we're sort of concerned with. Do the points fit in the range? So one last thing we can just run just to confirm the test suite. When I run that again as a JUnit test, you should see that all those things pass now. So hopefully, if you're running into trouble with debugging random in range, this will help. If you're still stuck, of course, reach out to us. We're always here to help.